All right, guys, so we're going to get into spoilers now. So if you haven't seen the film, get on out of here. And if you're watching on YouTube, go back to part 1. Check that out because we've got some opinions in there, that's for certain. So, spoilers.
Can I talk about my first spoiler?
Get in there,
I really
bro.
want to talk about this, which is the exposition scene that I found totally egregious.
Yeah. Enlighten us.
It's the where Vigera is giving her monologue on why she's doing this.
Yeah.
And I mean the monologue was pretty long-winded and very explanatory, but what really got me is that
The cutaways.
The cutaways.
Yeah.
Fuck me. Like it's just when she's talking as if she has like a soundboard
PowerPoint.
just ready to go when she's like the volcanoes or and like it's not as if like it's just for the audience. It's not fourth wall breaking. It's she's showing this video to the characters.
She's
like,
afraid they'll interrupt her. If she's like, pollution, they're like, what's pollution?
Yeah.
And like, no, this is
This.
pollution.
Oh, thank you, Vera.
I mean, like that is such weird. That's such a weird decision. Like
some old bullshit right there.
From a monologue point of view, fine, I get it. It adds to it in terms of like informing the audience. If you think your audience are idiots, I suppose.
Which to be fair.
But yeah, to have it in the context of her showing other characters, that blew my mind. I was like, this is so bad.
Yeah, I remember it's sort of the monologue starts and here's everything that's going on, we're revealing everything, and then it starts cutting away, and I was like, whoa,
yeah,
we're actually going down this path, and it didn't feel like as I said in the non-spoiler, I don't feel like they hit you over the head with a lot of stuff in this film, but that part they certainly did, which just seemed at odds with what the rest of the film was trying to do.
Yeah, like I mean, most audiences get it. Like you're doing it to save the environment and the population. Yeah. Like you could have gotten to that a lot quicker.
But on the flip side of that scene, I did like that Mum was the bad guy, the villain of the piece. Because right from the get go, she's cooperating with Charles Dance straight away without any real effort on his part. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Is this just like they've skipped a bit that I'm not paying attention to? And like, no, it's her plan. I'm like, that's awesome. That's cool.
I loved the reveal of like, because I remember a bunch of just looking at that scene where the daughter's meant to go to the father and the hesitation on the mom's side and trying to figure out what the hell is going on and just sensing that unease. And I thought that they played that out really well. And you know, my mind was immediately racing with, you know, why has she done this? Like trying to figure it out, and to have her kind of come up as being the mastermind behind this, I think is really cool. What I didn't think was cool was how ready to kind of like how she wasn't. People didn't seem to react the right way to her being a villain. Like I would have been pissed. And they seem to go for this redemption arc that never really vilifies her. Did you guys feel that at all? Like,
she got a comeuppance, which is
she did.
I was afraid they weren't going to kill her when she was in the most horrible car accident ever.
Right?
Then she was fine.
God.
I'm like, don't. And then they obliterated the city, and I'm like, she better not still turn up alive somehow.
I was because they never actually showed her die, and exactly. I was like, if you people like have her limping out of rubble,
just running away from the shockwaves.
Yeah. I was like, I can't handle that. I won't. But at least they finally killed her.
I wish, as I said in the non-spoiler part, I wish they'd made her more unhinged. I wish they'd lent into it a bit more, because there's a bit at the beginning where Millie Bobby Brown's character is sort of saying, "I'm worried about Mum," you know, whatever. Sending that email to the dad, and I was like, "Oh, come on, let's push this. Like, let's make her like really at odd, like trying to figure out what's the right thing to do." You know.
Yeah.
And she's not. And what I like, one thing I did like about her was she was kind of wrestling with her ideals in a certain way. But I wanted more from that, and I think that would have turned this film up to a new level.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that was a bit of a missed opportunity. But I still have to give massive kudos to them for not, because you knew exactly what this was going to be when you saw it, which was it was going to be the broken family. They get together. They escape the disaster and they become a family again. And that's like every disaster movie ever. And I think that it was great that they didn't go down that road and then they tried something a little bit more inventive.
Yeah. So yeah, I did like kind of how nuanced she was, relatively speaking. Charles Dance's character was awful. He was like, I liked his performance. He's very engaging on screen, but
super watchable.
As soon as we realized that King Ghidorah is a fucking alien monster, awesome, who's going to destroy the world, and he's just like, no, let's just keep doing it. It's fine. Like, I would have liked it if the bad guys, not just her, had gone once they'd gotten more information, because they didn't want the destruction of the world.
Yeah, exactly.
They wanted what the good guys wanted initially. They wanted Godzilla to be king to create harmony.
Yeah.
I would have liked it if they'd turned on that plan as well, instead of Charles Dance just being like, no, humans are bad.
that didn't make sense. Like, I mean, I get what they were going for, but I just think that it felt a little flat, didn't it?
Yeah, he just had that one line where he's like, I've been through war, I've seen it all, I've seen the worst in humanity. And that's the line that justifies it.
Just another maniacal villain. It's like, that's not interesting at all.
They could have added, like, just, add in a few little tidbits that sort of, like a bit of a precursor to that or something. Like, build up into it, not just, hey, this is my opinion. But
what they've obviously gone and done is they wanted him to be a setup for the future of the franchise, which is what they did. And I don't know that you can really have that redemption arc if you're going to do that. I mean, it's one of the risks of having a villain that spans several movies.
The consequence of that little end credit scene had better be a Ghidorah with 3 Charles Dance heads, because that is all I want to see from that.
Genetic splicing and
Did you like the design of Monster X?
Monster Zero?
Monster X.
King Ghidorah? Absolutely loved it, yeah.
I thought
so classic.
It looked a bit cartoonish, which I thought was a bold way to go.
I love how a little bit Godzilla, but all the other ones, like, they kind of look like dudes in suits.
Yeah.
I really love that. They're so simplistic in a way, like just really iconic designs. I really like
the silhouettes were great. What I will say though is I wanted like, what am I trying to say here?
It to be more grotesque and visceral.
I've completely lost my train
of thought here,
bud. Ghidorah. Oh yeah, so in this film they established that he's an alien.
Yeah,
and I wanted him to have more alien features. Like I thought Mothra looked probably the most alien. He was the most different from the rest. Whatever. They don't have genders.
Well, they call her the Queen of Monsters and she several times. So
let's not get into the details. Let's not do that.
We're not about details or facts here.
Fake news, real news, same shit. But I wanted him to be a bit more different. And it's a nitpick, not the biggest deal, but he didn't feel very alien.
Yeah, so I guess I'm coming from a place where he looks like classic Ghidorah, and I like that.
Yeah,
so that's me. Yeah.
And I mean, how much more alien do you want than a 3-headed dragon thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's like what?
It still looks like what we understand of as an organism,
as a dragon,
like on this planet.
If you compare him to the fire demon volcano monster, they're fairly comparable.
Big dragons. Yeah, big.
In that sense, I suppose.
Reptilian, dinosaurian sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So that's where I'm at with that. So I would have liked them, once again, push it a bit further, make it a bit different. But I don't have that history with the franchise, so...
I like that they were a little bit more reserved in the design of Ghidorah. I think that they could have gone a little bit too far with that and then just kind of lost a little bit of the, I don't know, the simplicity of it. There's something to be said for that.
So I love in a movie that's kind of taking it as seriously as this is that they just drop in that Ghidorah is alien Godzilla. Yeah. He came here from the stars and he's going to destroy the Earth. I love that they just throw that plot point in, and the mythology at large, just all of it they crammed in there. I loved it, and it didn't feel overstuffed. It didn't feel too expositionary. It was just an expanding kind of story that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. Can we talk about the underwater scene, which, encompasses them finding this kind of Atlantis-style city? I think we all just thought they never said Atlantis, which I thought was very cool because they weren't like, Atlantis. Yeah. Like, how would you know? Is there a sign?
Be Atlantis.
But and then also Ken Wanatabe's fuck it,
it's fine.
Ken.
Just call him Ken W.
Old mate Ken.
Ken Dubs.
His his kind of emotional climax.
I love an emotional climax.
So do I. I thought that entire sequence was super cool.
in his little sub.
The entire submarine underwater scene, like everything in that. I thought that was hectic. I am a sucker for world building and for the kind of delving into old mythos. There's something about ancient cities that I absolutely love, and them just going out and checking out this like huge underwater palace type thing. I was just like, I am loving every second of this.
Same.
Every time that they shone the lights on some new wall or tower, I was just like, oh, just give me more.
Because I right before that had happened, and Godzilla was dead, and they were whatever stuff was happening. I can't even remember. I was like, I would cut this entire segment. This Godzilla is dead because we know he's coming back.
Yeah.
His name's on the fucking poster. But then that part was really cool, and I really like Ken Watanabe's kind of final moments and stuff. I'm like, damn it! Now I don't know what I'd kind of do to fix all of that, but there's too much kind of pointless stuff there.
Yeah, so I think the payoff's worth the wait. And I don't think there's any other way to do that other than just making the audience wait for a little bit. But I loved this this is kind of where his hangout is. I loved I don't even know if it's a mythology, but just the whole thing that this was like a radioactive hotspot that he was healing at. Loved the visuals of that cave that went onto the air pocket type thing. I obviously can't say enough how much I love that entire sequence.
Yeah, no, it was very strong. I think I like the reservedness in like the lack of exposition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I really appreciated that.
They looked at a wall and they kind of talked about the wall a little bit, but they like we said, they didn't say this is Atlantis.
It's not like like a hologram comes up. It's like ancient runes from this.
People
it was
walking
like
around and
leave the mystery there, and that really worked for me.
So the only thing that personally bugs me, or just really guts me, is that they blew it up. That they just destroyed it all. I was like, oh, that
Devos.
like I was actually like, oh, I really like it. Obviously this franchise is going to continue, and I would have loved them to like go back there, or I didn't want it to end. But I think that one thing that they mentioned or kind of alluded to is that this might not be the only underground city. They alluded to the whole Hollow Earth thing, and in the credits there was things about something under Skull Island, like a Hollow Earth under Skull Island, which I think they could explore that. I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed all the King Kong tie-in stuff in this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think any of it felt too forced. There were a lot of mentions, but in the context of the world, all these titans rising, it made sense that they'd be talking about that stuff. So
yeah,
I don't know. I liked it. Godzilla vs. Kong comes out next year.
Yeah, March 13, 2020.
I'm keen about that.
Who's directing that one?
Adam Wingard.
What's he known for?
You're Next, The Guest, and Death Note for Netflix. But his first two movies, fucking awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they're not This was directed by, what was it? Michael Daughtry. Yeah. Who has? I was trying to find anything
Trick or Treat, Krampus. Yeah. He's a horror guy. There's a few jump scares in this. Yeah, Trick or Treat's really cool. Krampus was kind of middling, but some really inventive stuff in there.
Yeah, he's got some writing credits that are interesting. The X-Men 2 and Superman Returns. But yeah, I think that the what they did really well in this movie was bringing in the overall mythos and the world building of the all these titans, and it didn't feel bashed over the head. It felt very kind of like, here's a little bit of information. Why don't you digest that for a little while, and then you're kind of, as an audience member, being like, I want to know more. Like, I want to know, like, what are the other titans? Where's King Kong fitting into this? How do they match up in power or something? Like, I can't, like, after watching Godzilla go apeshit on this Hydra King Ghidorah, like, I don't know what
Kong's gonna do.
What Kong is gonna do? Yeah, like,
so Godzilla got superpowers in this movie. He went Super Saiyan.
Yeah,
Super Saiyan. But there was a combination, I think, of getting nuked and then getting Mothra dust all over him. So he was as powered as he's ever going to be in this movie. He may be a little more pared down for his.
How did you feel about that Mothra scene?
Mothra got
The
blown
beginning
away.
bit?
No,
The first one?
I really liked Mothra all the way up into the very end. Where
Probably the most striking visuals in the film. Every
Yeah.
Mothra scene was gorgeous.
yeah, really
Particularly
cool.
that first one. I really dug that opening scene.
Yeah, yeah, very cool introduction to that. But I was more talking about where it gets dusted and then the dust like settles on Kong. I was like, this seems weird. Like this, there was no, there was no kind of indication that would do anything or that there was any kind of consistency in
like
the logic of,
happenstance.
it'd be like,
Hey.
I think it's simple enough if you just say all these monsters are meant to be like hectically radioactive. So if the remains of one just get
I suppose,
thrown on
yeah.
the other, like and that's the source of their power. So whatever. And it did turn him into an absolute reactor.
Yeah, oh yeah, that combined with the atomic. Like I did love the visuals of just buildings melting around him. I thought, like, oh, that's such a cool thing to do. Like to be so radioactive that shit just fucking disintegrates around you.
What were you guys? What was your favorite action scene? Because mine was definitively the volcano. Like that for me was just so killer, and I loved the bit with the jets and how he was swooping around. Like
that's my favorite as well.
That was such a good action scene.
Yeah, Rodan and leading into Rodan versus Ghidorah.
Yes.
Loved all of that.
And that's
Killer.
I mentioned before in our non-spoiler review that there was a moment where the music was going that I was like, I have to find this music because it works so well for the scene. That's it. Like, I mean, they did this cool theme. It feels at odds. It almost feels kind of techie, but with the old I can't remember what the proper name for it is, but the Japanese drums and also the chanting. I just thought that was so cool. Speaking of the music, though, there was also some kind of like, I don't know what it was, like Mongolian or Inuit or like some kind of throat singing as well. I thought it was really cool. It adds like this mysterious kind of deep resonance to the film.
Always love some. That's just such an interesting sound.
Yeah.
I love it. The reverberance.
Yeah.
Sort of the harmonics and whatnot. Always love hearing that, whether it's on a soundtrack or a record. I love it.
And it does something. Like I don't know what it is. I don't know the mechanism behind it, but fuck me if it doesn't. Yeah, like if it doesn't get you in the mood in a film, just being like, yes.
Yeah, especially like a comedy. I love watching a comedy.
Now I'm ready to love.
Yeah. Anything else, guys? Any other spoiler tidbits you want to bring in here?
Sally Hawkins, I was watching the first one today. I was like, oh, wow, they got Sally Hawkins in this movie. I forgot about that.
Shape of Water. Is it?
Yeah. And then this one, I was like, oh, they got Sally Hawkins back.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that because I thought Ken Watanabe would be the only returning character. I think there are a couple others, but
She got stumped.
she just got eaten at one point. I'm like, all right.
See ya.
It was a weird kind of thing. Just looking through the it's trailing
that's
off.
a weird bang.
Just looking through the cast here. David Strathairn, the admiral, the military guy. You see him, twice and then just not again, which I thought was a bit weird. Just kind of
there.
like an unnecessary character.
He's here. He's there. No,
did
he's
like
not.
Aisha Hinds as the main kind of military captain type thing.
She was good. O'Shea Jackson Jr., though, I don't know what he was doing in this. He was like...
I was like, is
in
that
the-
Ice
in the
Cube's
background?
kid?
Yeah.
He was just yelling. That's what he was doing. Yelling.
Like, come on, man. You can do better than that role.
Any extra could have played that role, yeah.
That was such a throwaway role.
Yeah. He was just a recognizable face.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally it.
And only because it's his dad's face.
Yeah.
Give it back,
but-
O'Shea.
Having said that, I mean, I didn't hate him in this film. It's just nothing. He didn't do anything.
I thought Millie Bobby Brown was good. I think she's turning into a great actress.
Yep.
Yeah.
got a
Convincing.
good future ahead
Very
of her.
convincing.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
all the emotional resonance was there, and she sold
like
it for me.
it's easy to forget that she's just a child
Yeah,
actor.
how old is she?
Like,
14,
she's
16?
doing a great job.
God, if she's 14 and that's
15 years old. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I never watched Stranger Things, so I don't really have a reference point. But as far as child acting goes, I think she was really solid in this.
Yeah, I think she's going to be a superstar, like pretty much already is, but just going to keep going down that path.
Yeah. Anything else that jumps out at you guys?
I just want to do blue flame out of my mouth.
Yeah. I will say that some of the consistencies in the world still bother me. Just how close people were to explosions that just had absolutely no effect. old mate running away from Ghidorah, coming up out of the ice.
Oh yeah,
and just somehow makes it out.
I think worse than people being near explosions that have no effect is when they're near explosions that send them flying across the room and it doesn't kill them anyway. It's like, that's not how explosions work.
I feel like you can make tension without having someone just get narrowly missed by an explosion or have something
100%.
happen.
Carl Chandler got thrown against like some freight carrier so hard that it would have broken every bone in his body at one point. He's got knocked out and he was fine.
And he's up in the next scene. So yeah, I just think that there are ways to create tension, to create conflict, to make you fear for characters that aren't them being in close proximity to the things that would certainly kill them. Like you can have it both. Like there's no necessity to just have them that close.
There was a bit where Ghidorah and Godzilla were fighting at the end, and they were like running around their feet.
Yeah.
And Ghidorah like tackled Godzilla, and I'm like, well, sweet, they're like miles away now. Like it makes you think of the scale of it. I'm like, that's awesome.
And that did kind of, but that did kind of bother me, which is that at certain points the scale was really cool. You're like, oh, they look these big monsters, but also some of it just didn't pan out. Like somehow that they're missing crushing things. You're like, no, all that's leveled. It's gone. Yeah.
Obliterated.
Yeah, the Hydra like shooting its electric beams or whatever and somehow missing the daughter. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Under no circumstances should there be any
like
kind of
he's aiming right at her, then he shoots exactly that one tiny spot, and then the other heads are shooting around everywhere. It's like, you know exactly where she was, Ghidorah. What are you doing?
What did you think was happening here?
I did like how the heads were squabbling all throughout the film. I enjoyed that. Gave a bit of character to him.
Final question. If you were going to be one of these titans, who would you be? I would definitely be the fluffy mammoth dude. I just feel like that is... Like he looks so sleepy, and I was like fluffy and cute, and I was like, give him a shampoo down and he would be so fuzzy. Like, yes. I was
Such
just
a weird
in.
answer.
I was in for that guy. Second choice, sorry, I've thought about this a little bit.
wow.
Second choice would be Volcano Dude. What's his name?
Rodan.
Rodan.
Yeah, Rodan.
Rodan.
I would probably go Godzilla just because I think that you've got the ocean and land that you were kind of like king and master of. Like it just that seems like a no-brainer. The only thing you can't do is fly, and a lot of good that did.
Yeah.
The characters.
I would like to be King Ghidorah, and who would I want as my other heads? My best mates here.
Yeah.
So we could just fucking fight all day.
Yeah, exactly. That is it. We'd be the least effective King Ghidorah ever.
George would be like fighting me off Connor. I'm like, no, let me out. Godzilla's
As long as
standing
I'm
there
not
like,
in the middle.
Really?
As long as I'm not in the middle, we're good. Yeah. We can do a podcast every day then. Wouldn't that be wild?
I see you guys more than enough as it is. The thought of being attached to you for like 24/7 honestly gives me the shivers.
Yeah.
And not the good kind.
That gives me the good kind. Anyway, that was fun. I'm glad it wasn't a massive train wreck, I'm glad it wasn't insufferable. There were enjoyable parts in there.
I think it deserves more credit than that. I think it was a good time. Like, it was enjoyable.
Yeah, I just think if there was a few little things they tweaked, this could have been a really, really strong film. Like, not just a solid film.
That's a shame to think about. I think I really kind of don't want to give too hard a recommendation on it or anything. I think people could go either way with this. I had no
100%.
idea where you guys were going to go. I thought maybe you were finding it insufferable, which is why I was probably trying to give it points while I was watching it. But yeah, really, solid big monster movie. But if you're not already predisposed to this, you're probably not going to like it at all.
Yeah. If you're not into big monster movies, then no. I do have a quick question before we finish, though.
Yes, sir.
Where do you kind of rank this against like Rampage?
Oh, Rampage destroys this for me.
Yeah?
Yeah, so much more dumb fun in it.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like, in terms of a quality of movie, I think that I actually kind of prefer this film. Like, I probably prefer Godzilla. What Rampage has going for it is that there's no stakes to that film. It's just dumb fun.
And it hits the brief maybe a little better. Like, the brief of
but that's
Rampage
what I mean. Like, the
dumb
brief is
fun.
just, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. With
Whereas
The Rock.
this had loftier ambitions.
Yeah.
But I think if you take into consider if you consider the ambitions, like if you consider where they're trying to go, I think this one succeeds higher than Rampage, just not to its brief.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely preferred Rampage. And I also have a quick question.
Yeah. Oh, 3 questions.
Who's going to win next year in the Royal Rumble?
Oh,
King Kong.
baby.
I'm almost certain.
It's going to be a tie.
Well, yeah, it'll
Yeah, so
everyone wins.
Trick question. They're going to fight them. They're going to be mates and fight something else. But yeah, I would say Godzilla.
Oh, that's a plot twist and a half.
What is a king to a god, as the headline said at the end there, which I liked.
Yeah.
Anything to touch on with that post-credit scene, just quickly?
I already said my piece, and I'm standing by it. That's exactly what I want.
Yeah.
Charles Dance, three-headed Ghidorah.
I don't particularly like that they're setting up like a villain in this franchise.
It's lame. Such a letdown. Like, surely everyone's expecting like a Skull Island tease. Like, that's what I was waiting for.
That's
and I'm like, no, this is Charles Dance. We already saw him being lame already.
And that was the thing. Like, there was so much, in the post-credit, all the newspaper articles and all that talking about Skull Island. I was like, fucking sick. Like, I want to see some King Kong. Like, I loved the ending of Skull Island where you got to hear Godzilla. Like, it was such a simple thing, but cool. It was cool. Like, it was a little bit of connectivity. So
yeah, they could have done something more interesting there. Yeah. That was like a post-credit scene where I sort of went, I don't give a fuck about the cinematic universe. That's what I thought.
I care about it because it continues on the mythos, and I want to investigate Skull Island and check out like the Hollow Earth type thing. I think that's cool.
Yeah,
but I don't like the Charles Dance villain type, cinematic universe.
Well, we'll see what happens in 2020. That's our review for Godzilla King of the Monsters. Guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Hey, is there anything we've missed? Let me know.
You can come here and watch us do the podcast.
We have a little audience right here. Yeah.
Look at them. Hey,
40,
guys.
50 people. Hey, everyone. Stay quiet, though. Be quiet.
It's not a little audience. It isn't, a small amount of people. It's lots of people, but they're very tiny.
Very tiny people.
Little hobbits.
Little hobbits. All right, we'll be back for next week's weekly show and something crazy. I think it's Dark Phoenix next week, right?
Oh, shit.
Why?
Get ready, baby. That's going to be fun.
My girlfriend said that she hadn't seen X-Men. I was like,
where do you begin with that?
Yeah, I was like, this is...
It's too late. It's too late.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what to say. I was like, just skip it, I guess. Yeah, don't bother.
Don't worry.
You missed it.
It's all good. It's in the past.
Yeah, the good parts are probably not worth the pain that you'll have to go through anyway.
I can't seem to find it on Netflix or iTunes.
Oh, no, I can't. Oh, shucks. We'll just have to go without. All right.
Looking forward to it, Kana.
See ya.
Looking forward to it, Benny.
Bye, everybody.
Looking forward to it, me. Bye, me.